Yeah, I know it's you say it's live stream, but let me double check that because I have a slight delay all the time. Now we're gonna take it from there. Come on. Oh, there we go. Hello, guys. Hi, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you are in the world. This is Christina, and this is the newest episode of the Truth Runners Talk Show, as we are always here on Tuesdays. And today, I have the great pleasure to have again with me Aida Cirino-Lee. Welcome, Aida, and thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you. Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here. It's an honor to be here with you.
Aida was in our show a while ago, and a lot of things happened. A lot of things happened. We would love to tell you a lot of things. But before we go on, I just would like to remind you that Aida, she is a holistic health practitioner. And since we last met, she's done some really great things. What happened with my English today? And I would love to present you her book, which I recommend highly to all of you, Jumpstart Your Everlasting Health. And we are going to talk about her book. And I'm encouraging you guys because it's all about your health. It's all about you. And if you are watching this live today, or if you are watching that in the replay, please feel free to ask your questions from Aida because I assure you, you are in really good hands. So before we start, Aida, can you just tell us in a nutshell, who is Aida? Who are you? And why you choose? I know your life story, but let's share with others as well. Why did you choose to write the book? And why did you choose to be a health coach, a holistic health practitioner, really?
The reason why I chose to be a health coach, and by the way, hi everybody that is watching me. Well, the reason why I chose to be a health coach, I have to do my own health experience, my whole life. You see, since I used to work in the healthcare field, okay, as a registered medical assistant and a lab technologist. I worked in the health field for 27 years, but I was suffering of high blood pressure and I suffered a major stroke and 4 TIAs. I was very overweight and I used to be in the hospital, like 3 times or 4 times a year. I was in the hospital because the medication that they will give me, my body will get used to it. My blood pressure will spike up again. I get chest pain. I got a TIA, which is a small stroke, and I will end up back again. It was like a cycle. And I see that nothing is happening. I'm not getting any better. I'm not getting any better. And I decided I needed to do something different, because, when you continue to do the same thing, expecting a different
Different
result,
results.
it's not going to happen. So you have to do
Exactly.
something different. So I
Exactly.
decided to start doing research, and I started researching functional medicine and natural medicine and, home remedies and herbiology and ayurveda and all that stuff. And I started to implement those things that I was learning, and I started seeing the change in me. So when I started seeing the change in me, I said, I want the other people that are around me to be able to experience what I'm experiencing, the healing that I'm experiencing right now. So then I decided, let me make this official and go to school and get me certified, to become, so I'll be able to share with other people. And that's the reason why I became a holistic health practitioner, because I believe that today's healthcare are not really bringing in healing. What they do, what they do right now is what I call sick care.
Yeah, I
You know,
love what you are saying. And I said, I told you last time, sick care and health care, and you can explain that so really nicely. So what's the difference and why is sick care? Why is health
okay,
care?
because sick care is what the medicine, what they do is they rescue your body from a trauma or a sudden illness or disease exacerbation. They stabilize you. They send you home with pills. And what those pills do, you start with one pill, okay, and then
And
you
we'll
end
end
up
up with
having
five.
more pills. If you don't change your lifestyle, if you don't change your eating, if you don't do nothing like that, you are prescribed today a one pill, and in 6 months you're already in 3 pills, and in a year you're in 6 pills. Why? Because the same thing that happened to me. They give me one for my blood pressure, but then this one will lower my potassium, so I need a potassium pill. This one will give me a headache, so I need a headache pill. This one will give me gastritis, so I need a acid reflux pill. And by the end of the cycle, you have I end up taking 19 pills a day.
True, true. And one against another, one against another.
So
So with 19 pills, you are still not good because your body cannot cope.
so the sick care, yes, it will save you. I thank you for this for hospital. I thank you for the medical, because if it wasn't for that, I would not survive the stroke. But at the same time, what they do is they prolong your life, but the quality of life sucks. Because then you're dependent to the medication, dependent to the side effect. Okay, I don't know about you and the people that are watching me, but when I retire, you know, I want to be able to travel and enjoy my retirement, not spend the money that I save and I work hard
Exactly.
to be in my trip to be in the hospital, my vacation be in the hospital, my trip will be to the doctor's office, and my money going into big pharma. That's not what I want, and that's what is sick care. Now, health care is when you bring healing into your body. It's exactly what you do. That the only person that is responsible for your health care is you, not the doctor. Okay, because the health care is you go and take some sun, eating healthy, exercising, sleeping, drinking plenty of water, making sure that you're giving yourselves the nutrition that you need. That is really healthcare. When you can bring healing into your body and body, mind, and soul, because remember that we don't just the body, we have a mind and we have a spirit. And all three things work together. That's another thing, that the sick care system, they compartmentalize our body. Because you have a doctor for the cardiologist, you have a doctor for the pulmonologist, for the lungs, you have a doctor for your reproductive system, you have a doctor, and then they don't work together.
True. That's true.
Okay,
I completely
like they
agree.
treat everything like it's different when everything's one. Everything works together. They don't look at the patient like you are sick, you come with the symptoms, they're going to treat that symptoms. They're not looking why do you have the system. Is there anything in your emotions that is causing the system? Is it something in the environment causing the system? Is your relations causing the problem in you? They're not counting none of that. They just have a symptom, and then the insurance dictate a protocol that the doctors have to follow. And they treat everybody the same. We all different. We have different experiences. We came from different countries. We have different races. We have different costumes and culture, and we eat differently, and we experience different things. But no, they treat everybody like we are the same. We are not the same. If we were the same, we all have the same fingerprint.
Absolutely agree. I agree. We are just a number. They treating the symptoms, but they do not treat real the person. They are not treating who you are. Yes, I am grateful that they are there, but yet, in my opinion, there is something what they should change. In the system, they should take a little bit more pay attention. To the human, to the person who actually visits that doctor. Okay, I would love to go first on your first chapter of your book. Okay. And you are talking about mindset, because everything starts with mindset. And I can see that you are really passionate about it. What do you mean that your health starts with your mindset?
Because everything starts in your mindset, because everything that you think, all your thoughts and everything will be manifested into your body. Everything that goes into your mind will be manifested into your body. Okay, and not only that the cells in your brain will communicate to the cells of your body, and whatever, if you're negative, then it's negativity that's going to go into your cells, and that negativity is going to bring inflammation, it's going to increase your cortisol, it's going to increase your stress. You see, because it communicates. So everything, plus everything in the world, everything that you're looking at right now, your shirt, your computer, everything, even the internet, all these things came from the unknown, from the unseen. Okay, and then became an idea to somebody, and then somebody created.
True.
So everything started in the mind. Every single thing started in the mind.
True. Thank you.
So the same thing happened with your health. Your health start in your mind. If you're the kind of person, like I used to say all the time, for example, I'm fat. I used to say, oh, if I look at a cake in a magazine, if I was watching a magazine, looking at a magazine, and I look at a chocolate cake, that's my favorite, I would say, I cannot even look at a chocolate cake, because if I look at it, I already can 5 pounds. Listen, when you have that mentality, it's like your cells hijack the fat and don't let go. Will not let go, because that's the energy that you're bringing into your body. Plus, I don't want to sound like religious or anything, but even though the Bible says that the power of life and death is in your mouth, so you always talk what you're thinking in your brain. So when you're confessing that you're fat, when you're confessing that you're sick, when you take ownership of the disease, like people, my blood pressure, my diabetes, my arthritis, it's not yours.
Exactly.
You were not born with it. don't take ownership of it. You know what I'm saying? So that's the kind of mindset things that I want people to understand. Another thing that that I talk in my first chapter also, that is the how we sabotage ourselves when it comes to changing our lifestyle. Some people get overwhelmed. And because they get overwhelmed, they get paralyzed and they don't do nothing. You know,
I agree. Yes,
because they get overwhelmed because the internet says so many, you know, go eat this, eat that, no, don't do this, do that. They get paralyzed, you know. But you know, and there's general consensus of what is good for you, that you can start do, you know, little by little. I always say small steps doing consistently will give you big results.
true.
You don't have to start doing everything at the same time. You know, you can start doing. There's a process that I call crowding out. Crowding out. Instead of telling people don't eat this and don't eat that and don't eat that, I will tell them, okay, continue eating what you're eating, but then add a fruit, add a vegetable. Because what happens is that when you get full with it, I'm not telling you not to take the soda, not to take this, not to take that. But as you adding one more, then you have less space in your tummy for something else, because now you're full. Exactly. And little by little, you know, you can start switching things until you change. Another thing about your mindset is that some people, they're doing good in their lifestyle. They decide to change. They're eating better. They're exercising, and then one day, they slip. Let's say, you know, your friend invite you to dinner and now you had a piece of chocolate cake. Not because they had that piece of chocolate cake or because they went party on the weekend and they didn't get to exercise, then they stop because they think that they break the cycle and they completely stop. No, don't do that. On the contrary, instead, because now they feel guilty. When you feel guilty, you're depressed and you're down. So you're suppressing your immune system again, and you're getting stressed, and you're getting that cortisol again up and that inflammation up. No, honey, if you already break the dial of the cycle in this meal, enjoy that cake, really good, be happy and enjoy it and savor it. But then your next meal, you go back to your cycle, to your thing.
True.
You know,
absolutely.
so that way you don't lose momentum of what you're doing. So that's another thing. Another thing is that people do also that they have to do with your mindset is that they always say, "Oh, I'm gonna start, you know, change my lifestyle next Monday, or next Monday, or someday, or when the summer start, or when the new year start," and it's like that time never gets there.
True.
Oh, I'm gonna eat healthy, but let me just eat all the garbage that I have in my refrigerator and the pantry first, and then I start. But it seems like the pantry and the refrigerator keep giving birth to more garbage, and they never start.
True, absolutely.
Those are things. Those are ways that we sabotage ourselves. Other people, they think that they're not worth it, and it's not that they are saying it out loud, but their mind and their personality, their self-esteem, they don't think they're worth to work hard. To take care of themselves.
I really like what you are saying.
And so they don't do it, you know, and that stop them from taking. So the first thing that people need to understand is your mindset, because you need to understand that the healthcare field and the doctors and everybody, they're not for you. Okay, they're not. They have too many people to take care of. You know, so they're not going to be taking care of every single thing about you.
You're just a number.
You know, remember, not only a number, but remember that the medical field is a business. Big pharma is a business. The food industry is a business. They're not looking out for you. So if you don't look out for yourself, nobody else do it.
True.
You know, do you know that the Harvard University, they did a study on hospitals, people that was hospitalized, and they checked their charts. And they said that 1.2 million people a year get hospitalized because of adverse reaction to medication. And medication that are given correctly at the right time for the right person and the right diagnosis. And they still end up, and out of those, 88,000 die every year out of the adverse reaction. That doesn't count. I'm not counting the medical errors, the overdoses, and none of that. So that's why it's so important that you make the mindset of saying, I'm going to take care of myself and understand that the doctor is responsible for your sick care when something sudden happens, when illness happens, and when some, management it need to happen because you need medication. But the really health care is what you do for yourself. You need to be responsible. You have to be a participant of your health care. You have to be intentional about wanting to be healthy. It doesn't happen just because. Even when you pray to God and you pray for healing to God, for those of here that are Christian, and you're praying for healing to God, and God might heal you, he will, because that's in his will heal
You
you.
kind of have to do
If you,
something as well.
yeah, you still have to do things, because he healed you to diabetes, but then you're going to continue eating sugar and doing all the other stuff. In 3 months, you're going to have diabetes again.
Absolutely. I completely agree with you. So everything starts with the mindset, with the words, because the words are powerful. Being mindful of how you are talking about yourself and what you are saying to yourself out loud or in your mind. Procrastination and self-sabotage, right? And low self-esteem and not feeling really worthy. These are the main things what actually stops us to start living a healthy lifestyle, right? And stop. Right, it's beautiful. And then you are talking on the second chapter about education, and this is something huge because I've seen this is a big chapter. And thank you for including that in your book, because education, everything starts at home. Everything starts with education. It's really important. Can you please just in a nutshell tell me what do you mean by, I know, but let's say education. Why is education important really in healthcare?
The education is important because if you don't know how your body works and what your body needs, you're not going to be able to give what the body needs. It's like if you don't know that the car needs a transmission oil, that the other day I saw my husband buying some other type of oil that was not motor oil. And I asked her, what are you doing? What is that? That's not motor oil. And he told me, no, that's transmission oil. So thank God that I had a husband that know that the cars need transmission oil, because I've been riding that car for years and I have never knew that I'm supposed to put transmission oil to the car. You see, because if you're not informed, then
Exactly.
you
You
don't
don't
know what
know.
you're supposed to do with your body. So it's important for us to be informed. What is that my body needs in order to be in optimal health? What I have to do to become that CEO of my health that I need to be. Okay, treat your body like we all want to be in control of everything. No, but treat your body like this your company, and your cells are your employees, and your organs are your equipment, and your system are your department, and your nutrition and lifestyle are your human resources. So are you a good CEO? Are you giving yourselves what they need in order for them to work in the highest healing potential? And you can make sure that your equipment is calibrated and up to date and getting the things that it needs in order for them to function, that they're getting the maintenance that they're supposed to? Are you making sure that all the departments are working together?
I love, I love.
So we need to learn how the body works, what the body needs. Okay, what is good for you, what is not good for you. Things that are essential when it comes for you to learn is nutrition. You need to know exactly what your body needs. You need to know what are the root cause of diseases that you're going to find out you're going to see it in the book. So you start attacking the root cause of disease, because what happened with medicine is that they treat the symptoms. The fact that you have high sugar is a symptom of diabetes. It's not the root cause of diabetes. But if you can treat the root cause of diabetes, or if you are trying to prevent disease, if you optimize the health of your cells, because the cell is the smallest unit in your body, and you optimize it, then you're going to be able to prevent disease. And if you already have a disease, you're going to be able to either reverse it, depending on the stage that you are, or minimize the damage. At least you can do damage control if you're already too deep in it, and alleviate yourself from complications. So those are things that we need to know. The root cause, we need to learn about nutrition. We need to learn about the things that are harmful for the essential things that are harmful for the body. You need to know about sugar and how bad sugar is for your body. You need to know about fasting, for example, but how good is fasting for your body, and understand why it's good. So that way you know how your body works. Another thing that you need to know is what works for you and what doesn't, because sometimes there's some people, for example, they might eat a banana and their sugar will escape up, but there's some other people can have maybe a banana every other day and the sugar will not spike up. So you need to know those things in order for you to be able to, address your health. So
You
that's
kind
why
of, yeah.
chapter 2 is so big and so full, because I need them to know all the basics, especially the root cause and the nutrition, how to read labels, how to optimize the immune system. It's important to know how to optimize your immune system, to learn a little bit about the cholesterol and things like that. But those things are essential. And the main conditions like high blood pressure, heart disease, diabetes, it's important for them to hear about those things. So that's why I include that in chapter 2, so they can be informed. And maybe when they read this, then they can say, okay, I have this. Yeah, this is what's happening with me. Or this is what I have to do. You see? Now they have the tools to be able to take care of their body.
True. And I love it. I love that you put that there, because if you ask someone, do you know your body? Do you know what you really like, what's good for you or not? I'm telling you, 99% of the people, they have no idea what's good or wrong for them. They don't know what exactly diabetes means. They have no idea how the immune system works and what's that. Mm, You know, and things like this, really basic things that we should know, because unfortunately we tend to not take care of our health and of our body. Only when something really bad happens and we get to the situation that we get to the doctor, then we say, oh, okay, I have to change my lifestyle. I have to change my diet. And we got there that, we start medication and stuff like that. And I really love this chapter because you describe so in really simple words, really what's what. So it's really easy to understand. So I'm really loving. And then you go to detox, right? Now this is
Yeah.
again huge, because I think detox, when let's say you have a lifestyle and it's not the best, okay, but you decide, okay, from today I'm gonna be a little angel and I'm gonna have a healthy lifestyle. You should start with detox, right?
Yes. Well, if you read the chapter already, you know how I tell at the beginning, you start changing a little bit. So when you get to the detox,
Exactly.
your body
Exactly.
doesn't get that shock, and then you won't be able to accomplish the detox.
Oh, not
But
not.
the purpose of the detox is to optimize your body,
Mhm.
optimize your organs, making sure that your organs are getting the nutrients and getting that cleanup and calibration that I was talking about. That's the most important. But if you notice, I started with a sugar detox. Why a sugar detox? Because sugar is the number one enemy and the common denominator in many diseases. Many diseases. So not only that, when you remove sugar, you're also removing some of the guilty foods. When you remove sugar, you're removing the gluten, because you're removing the bread and stuff like that. You're removing certain baked goods that are not good for you. You're going to be removing some fats that are not good for you when you do it. You're going to be removing all that candy and all those sodas and stuff like that. So that's why I started with the sugar detox. And the other thing is because the sugar detox help people to change their taste buds. You know that it takes 21 days for you to change your taste buds. So if they stop tasting the sugar, then they be able to consume less sugar once they finish the detox. So that's why it's so important for us. Every so often we need to do that. But there's a lot of people that say, especially doctors, if you ask a doctor, you should do a detox, they tell you, you shouldn't do a detox. But like I explained in the book, yes, our body was created where it has their own detox system. Okay, our body have their own detox system that it work perfectly. God created us with everything that we need. What happens is that we abuse it because of all the junk and contamination. Remember that every single thing that you consume with your five senses, okay, with your five senses, everything that you consume with your eyes that is negative, everything that you consume in your mind with your negative thoughts, everything that negative that you put into your mouth, everything toxins that you put into your skin, into your hair, everything that you smell when you spray Febreze and you put those smelly candles and all that have toxins, all those things create free radicals. What is that? Because everything get metabolized at the cell level, and when it get metabolized, I mean it break down and use up. Okay, the end product is the free radicals, which are negative ions that damage the cells. So what that negative ions does is that they damage the cell because they don't want to be alone. I don't want to be negative alone, you know? You know how they say that misery like misery for company? That's starting ourselves. They don't want to, they don't want to be alone, these free radicals. So they break out the cell to get to the other one to try to get paired. And what they do is they continue breaking. So when that happens, that means that you're getting oxidized. That means that you have oxidative stress. And what happens is that now your immune system do not recognize those cells anymore because they don't look the shape, you know, the integrity of the cell is broken when the cell is damaged. Your immune system do not recognize it and start attacking. And that's how disease happens. Not only that, insulin resistance, for example, that is the root cause of diabetes, it happens because as all this oxidation is happening into the cell, now the integrity of the cell walls is also compromised. So now instead of being circle like this, it's all broken like this, no? So what happened? That the doors, the pathways where the sugar, where the insulin need to hook up to dump the sugar gets jammed. And now the sugar cannot sit there. And then broken things go around it, and then you get inflammation that is also blocking those doors, and then that's why you get insulin resistant. So when you do this detox, you're going to reduce all this chemical, reduce all this garbage out of your system, and give your body a break of all this nasty stuff, so the body can get the strength again and continue to work. Now, of course, that your body, like I said, normally detox itself because we have our liver and our liver and our you say the lymphatic system that work into and the kidneys that are the filters of the body, but they get overworked. If you have a fatty liver because you eat too many sugar, then your liver is covered with all that fat. It cannot work properly. So when you do that detox, you're gonna lower that breakdown of fat because you're not eating the negative fat, the bad fat, or things like that, and gonna give a break to that liver to work better. So it's not that we not detoxing, that the body's not doing it. It's that we overwork our body and we put too much stones and more than the body can handle, and that's why we need a detox. And in that chapter, I also include for those that want to lose weight, then some tips that they can add up during the detox, and plus when they're doing the detox, they can get like a jump start into their weight loss.
That's not me in this case, but I've read that and it's really amazing.
But you know that they said that in America right now, 50% of the people are overweight.
Oh, really? That's really huge, though.
So
please,
some
guys,
people say 50, some people say 60.
Here we go. A pretty easy read and very, very useful information in there. And you are talking not about detoxing the body, but detoxing your mind and your spirit.
Yes, because let's say some people go and detox their body. They go and do the cleanse and they detox and they do it really good. But then they still have all this toxin stuff in their mind, okay, and their spirit that continue to bring stress, continue to put them in a stressful situation, and they cannot digest the food right. They're eating all the right things, but they cannot digest it right because their body's in a knot.
It's like,
or full of phlegm and stuff like that because they're drinking too much of milk and eating too much of the bad fats and things like that. You know, so you need to detox your mind as well as your spirit, because we are three things. Remember that when the spirit's not working right, it's gonna manifest. When you have a bad spirit, that means that you don't know who you are, you don't know who you came from, and you don't even know your purpose. And because of that, you have low self-esteem. That's how it reflects into your mind when your spirit's bad. You're going to have self-esteem, and then the self-esteem is going to be depression and anxiety and stress, and that's going to cause disease into your body. When your mind is not working right, let's say, for example, that you have so many bad experiences in your childhood that is still, it's not going to let you find that purpose. It's not going to let you find that forgiveness. It's not going to allow you, going to keep you stressed. It's going to keep you negative, and that's going to bring stress to your body. And then when your body is bad, when you're not feeling good, then the first thing that you're thinking is negative things.
Absolutely. That's
and
true.
The last thing that you're thinking is your spiritual, because you're are so consumed with the pain and the uncomfortableness and the pills and all the stuff. So that's why you need to detox all the three things. It's very important.
That's nice. I love it. And I really love how you describe that. And I really love how you explain it, Aida. Really. And you are talking about individual lifestyle. You were talking at the beginning that we are all different, we are all unique. And you are talking about individual lifestyle. What exactly do you mean by that, though? You're very welcome, Jess. Jess said, thanks for the detox reminder, body, mind, and spirit. Yes, you have to do that sometimes.
Yes. What I mean about an individual lifestyle protocol is because you need to find out exactly what are the things that are good for you and not good for you, and you want to design your nutrition and your lifestyle accordingly to what you need in order to prevent or reverse or control a particular condition that you have.
So what you are saying is that what's good for me, it might not be good for you, or what's good for you, it works for you, it might have no
Not big.
results for me.
But in that chapter, I go even deeper than that, because I don't, in order for you to find out that, you need to go, you have to become a detective about your life
Yes.
and get all this information from childhood to now. And people ask me, but why from childhood to now? Because people, when you get diabetes, when you get arthritis, it's not something that happened just a day or months before you get diagnosed. This is something that is happening since you're born.
Absolutely right.
Depending on, like, for example, if you have a kid that had ear infection all the time, they were in antibiotic all the time. These are the people that grow up with a low immune system, always getting colds and sick. Why? Because all this antibiotic kill the good bacteria in your microbiome, in your gut. And remember that 60% of your gut is of your immune system is your good bacteria. So if you're not having good bacteria, and then you kill it because of all this antibiotic that kill the good bacteria, but you never replaced it through your life, then you're going to have digestive issues. Okay, you're not going to be absorbing the nutrients properly. You're going to have leaky gut. You're going to have inflammation. You're going to have arthritis and diabetes and all these other diseases. So that's how you know, depending on what the lifestyle of the person was since she was a child, what they went through. For example, it was a person that had, a very tough childhood, that were mistreated, that were abused. Okay, that can be the root cause of their depression, or their anxiety, or their mental health issues, and even physical issues. So if you go back and that person have unforgiveness, let's say they were sexually abused and they have unforgiveness, that
You
can
are
be the
talking.
root cause. I know I have patients, because I work in an oncology office where we used to do the chemo and everything in the same place. And I have patients that were diagnosed with cancer, and when they find out the root cause of what's happening to them is all the anger that they had inside of them and unforgiveness, when they started forgiving the people, they start getting better.
I do believe that, because forgiveness is for self, not for others. It's for you. You forgive people, not for them. You forgive them for yourself. And forgiveness is a really, really huge thing, really, guys. So just be my, because sometimes I face this question as well. Why should I forgive Christina? Because they hurt me, they harm me. You know what? You don't do for that. You are doing it for yourself, really. So forgiveness is a really important element for you. It's for you.
Exactly. You're not doing it for the other person. You're doing it for your own mental health. Because
Absolutely.
remember that for example, let's say somebody hurt you. You know that your conscious is when you are awake and you know who you are, you make all your decisions, and your will and power is right there. Okay, and then you have your subconscious, and your subconscious are all the memories and everything that you have learned and all your experience are your subconscious. Your subconscious is like a bowl, and then in the bowl there's a spoon, and the spoon is the emotions. Okay, so what happened is that, let's say for sake of a conversation, that the memories that you have is a bowl of cereal, okay, and it's Lucky Charm, and the oats are the bad things that happen, and the marshmallows are the good things that happen. Whenever you have an emotion, that emotion need to pick from that experiences. That's why people kill people and things like that, and then they don't remember why they did it, because they have so much garbage in that brain. Because that's another thing, we have to be intentional about what we put in our brain. And if all you have is garbage, because all the things that happened to you when you were a child, and you never forgive or never deal with that, that's going to come in your conversations, in the way that you talk, in your emotions, you know. So when you have somebody there, when you have somebody that you are angry at and that you haven't forgive, it's like they're renting a space in your subconscious. renting a room there. So
A
what they
big
do is
one.
that they put in more garbage, put in more garbage there, because you are remembering that story and what they happened, or you are thinking on how you're gonna insult them if you see them again, or how much you want to revenge and stuff like that. So they put in garbage, and then when something good happened to you, then they're blocking everything good that happening to you. They're blocking. So,
Because you do
so
that.
that chapter, it's going to help them research all this in their background. Also research the status of their health at the moment. What tests do you need? What preventive tests do you need? What numbers? You need to know your numbers. You need to know what is your cholesterol, what your sugar, what your hemoglobin 1C, how you check how much inflammation is in your body, all these things. And I listed all in the book right there. And then not only that, I teach them also how to navigate our sick care system. Because in order to get to that number, you need to go to the doctor.
Yeah.
And the thing is that we go to the doctor not knowing anything, at the mercy of whatever they said. You need to know what is that you have, okay, and what is the normal protocol for it and stuff like that. So you have an idea. So you give it when you have an idea of what is supposed to be done with your condition, then you give less room for error to the doctors.
True. I agree with that.
And when you're pushing the doctor to be authentic and actually work better in your behalf. Then when you don't know, then they go to the protocol and next.
Exactly. I agree.
And knowing all your history, medical history and all that stuff, that can save your life.
True.
My husband was in the hospital with an adverse reaction to a medication. He was having some diarrhea. He was having some distended stomach, and he was taking the dialysis. And I tell the doctor, do a CT scan of the abdomen, because he suffered of diverticulitis. He wasn't there for the diverticulitis, but I'm telling the doctor, most likely he got exacerbation of the diverticulitis, and he got diarrhea. He might have some C. diff, which is an infection of the stool that you got in the hospital. If I didn't know that history about my husband, the doctor would not do that test, because he didn't have no reason. He's there for the kidneys. He's not there for the stomach. You know what I'm saying? So because I knew about it and they did it, they caught out that my husband was having an exacerbation of the diverticulitis and he was having C. diff. Those are two things that if they don't catch it right away, you can die.
So one important message here, really, guys, know yourself. Know yourself from inside out really well. As Aida said, know your numbers, your mindset, your spirit, your body, they all work together. But first of all, know yourself, love yourself, and respect yourself enough to be curious about all these things regarding your health, your body. And then you are talking about spirituality. And I love how you bring together really nicely the health and the spirituality, how they blend in together.
Yes, it is very important for us to understand that we were spirit first.
Thank you.
That came into the body.
Thank you.
We were first in the invisible, and then we were made material in our mommy's womb. And then we're here. So it's very important for us to know about faith. People always think that faith is a religious term.
No,
it's not a religious term, because every single person have faith.
True.
Well, Haida, how can you say that? I'm agnostic, or I'm an atheist. I don't believe in God. Listen, you have faith that when you're going to turn on that car every morning to go to work, that it's going to turn on. When you have a headache and you take a Tylenol, you have faith that is going to take your headache away.
True.
You don't walk around all day thinking that the worst thing is going to happen. That means that you have faith. You go to the hair salon, you have faith in a hairstyle that they're going to cut your hair the way that you want it.
True.
So you're practicing faith. Faith is essential. And it's been scientifically proven that when you have faith, the people that have faith, that practice faith, have shorter hospitalization, okay, in the hospital, and heal faster.
True. I love you.
So it's important for us to practice, so everybody have faith. But why spirituality is so important? Because spirituality is what give you your identity. It will tell you who you are, who you came from.
Absolutely.
It give you the value of who you are. And like the way that I usually explain it is that I know I came from God. And I know God is a king and is the creator and the father of everything. Okay. If he's a king, that means I'm a princess.
True.
And if I'm a princess, that means that I'm worth it.
Absolutely.
Okay. And that I'm worth it, everything that I deserve. I know that when he created me with everything that I need in order for me to success in life. So I know my value. So I'm not going to let people treat me any way they want it, because I know my value. Because the value comes from your creator. How I know this is true, because when you go to buy a dress, for example, they have a cheap store here in Florida called Ross. It's a cheap store. And then they have stores like Macy's or JC Penney or Fifth Avenue. Those are expensive stores. If you get a dress from Fifth Avenue, for example, and you get a dress from Ross, you're going to take good care of that dress from Fifth Avenue because the quality.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? The quality of that. And then you're probably going to treat whatever the other dress because it's a cheap dress.
Absolutely.
So you know the value of the dress because you know where it came from. So knowing where we came from is going to give us our value. Not only that the manufacturer is usually the one that know how to fix you.
Exactly. Absolutely right.
You don't buy a refrigerator from Westinghouse and take it to another place. You know?
Thank you. Thank you so much for explaining so
I'm doing a show. I'll
nice.
call you later. That my daughter can keep calling me. So I'm so sorry, people. This is life.
That's fine. That's fine. We have calls all the time. So guys,
so that's why I say it's so important for spirit. Also, in spirituality, practicing gratefulness is something that is very important. Practicing doing your devotion, doing meditation, doing breathing work, all those things have a lot to do with your spirit.
About
so it's very important to strengthen your spirit, strengthen your value, know who your manufacturer, your creator is, so that way you can go back to that person so you can get fixed.
True.
So that's what I think in spirit is very, very, very important.
And you also talk about gratitude, and we go back to forgiveness because we talk about forgiveness again, and purpose. And you talk about love and relationship. Why relationship is important for our health?
Because we were made to be together. We were made to be with people. We were made to do things alone.
Thank you.
It is so important for us to be with people. It actually has been scientifically proven that the people that live longer are the people that have companionship, the people that they're married, that have somebody that support.
Yes,
the people that heal faster, the people that have the support. The people that success is the people that have the support.
True.
You know? So it is important for us, but also the people can be your medicine in this area, but also can be your poison, because there's so toxic people out there also. So it's so important for you to know how to identify toxic people and remove it out of your life. And then get those people that really, really love you, that really care about you, that it doesn't matter if you don't see them every day, but they're there for you no matter what. They're there for your wins, and they're there for you when you fall. And they're not there to when you fall to put you down, but to help you lift up. So, nothing more stressful than people. So it's essential for us to have good relationships. And in order to have good relationships, we have to have respect, we need to have good communication, and we need to know the other person. So I'm a kind of person that always say, especially when it comes to your spouse and your children, and maybe your mom and dad, your immediate family, do assessments so you know their personality, so they know the way that they love and they like to receive love. Because this is the problem in a lot of relationship. It might be that the way that you receive love is in action of kindness, or action of service. But the way that I like love, it might be affection, that I like to be, hug and kiss all the time. But because you're not that type of person, you don't want to give me that kind of love. And because I didn't know that you like, you know what I'm saying? And that create conflict in relationship. But when you get to know them better, especially your children and your spouse, I'm sure that you're going to have a better relationship.
I love you for saying that, because exactly the other day I had a conversation with someone regarding relationship and love, and I said communication is really important, because maybe the way how I perceive to be loved is different than how the person loves me, okay? He sees differently. And I think that he doesn't love me, but he does. I mean, he does love me from the bottom of his heart, but he doesn't love me the way how I want him to love me. That's a different thing. But
Mhm.
so that's why communication, you know, and understanding and knowing the other person, but knowing yourself first, it's really important. So thank you for bringing that up, because I'm like, okay, this comes up. It's really really important in relationships, not
And it's
only with
important for your
others.
health.
Exactly, not just for others, but for you as well. It's the
Mhm.
relationship with yourself, with your body, your mind. I mean, it's overall. And then you talk about purpose.
Yes, because
That's a
every
huge one. Everybody asks, oh, Ida, Christina, what's my purpose? Why am I here? What's the purpose? What's the purpose of being healthy? What's the purpose of doing this and that now? What's the purpose?
I believe that everybody is created with a purpose. That you came here to do something. You are the solution to somebody's problem. You are here for to accomplish something, to create something. You everything is created with a purpose. Every single time. The refrigerator is created to cool out your food and maintain it so it doesn't get damaged. You know, the vacuum is created to clean the floors. So you were created with a purpose. The thing is that people believe, okay, that only a purpose is something big, like, you know, I invented the light,
Exactly, exactly.
or I'm a big speaker that speak to millions and millions and millions of people, like Les Brown or Lisa Nichols,
Yeah,
or I'm a pastor, or I'm a doctor. Those are purposes to do that person might have. But your person, and some people, they get depressed because they think they have no purpose, because they think that because if they cannot do something big, that is not a purpose. But your purpose might be to be in the right time at the right place, so you can say a word of encouragement to somebody that probably would have gone and commit suicide a few hours later,
true.
and now you avoid it. Maybe your purpose to be the best mother ever, because you are raising the person that is going to find the cure for cancer,
True.
or you're raising the next president. You know, your purpose can be just a talent, like a pain, singing. You know, whatever is your purpose, but you.
Mm,
That's why you need to know self. It's so important to have periods of time where you're alone to do self searching,
absolutely
to really
right.
know who you are. And I want to talking to know who you are. Don't identify yourself with your career,
Or what you have
or
exactly,
or
your
what you
job.
have. It's what you are inside. For, you know, what are those talents that you have inside, who you are inside, where you want to be,
True.
creating, you know, writing that vision of what you want to be. People that does not have a vision will not take care of themselves, because they go through life making decisions that hinder their health, that hinder the relationship, that hinder the other people around them, that hinder the community, because they going, it's like just getting into the car and driving without direction.
You know what? And that reminds me of a good friend of mine who said, Christina, you know, everybody has one purpose, and our purpose is to be happy, really. Because whatever we do, whatever we are searching for, at the end of the day, we are really searching for happiness, right? So our purpose is to be happy. But again, happiness comes from within.
Within, what happens is that that's the thing, is that we give too much responsibility and power to others,
Others,
when the power and
exactly.
the responsibility is in us. The same thing happened with health. We give the responsibility to the doctor, when the power and responsibility of your real health care is yours, not the doctor. And the same thing happened with your happiness. Oh my, you think you get married because you want your husband to make you happy? No, that's not why you get married. You have to be happy yourself.
Exactly.
And then your purpose, you know, your purpose in that marriage is because you're happy, you're going to contaminate the other person with your happiness and make
True.
them happy.
True. I
But it's not
completely
like
agree.
it's your job to make you happy, or your
Ah,
job. It's just that because you're happy, you're going to bring happiness to that union.
true. Absolutely true.
You know
Your
what I'm saying?
job is to make yourself happy, to
So the
feel
people,
happy. That
yeah, they believe that it's the responsibility of if these people, if the person don't do this, or if the person do that, then I'm not happy. Or They wait to do things that they need to do, things that they love to do. Oh, I'm not going to travel until I retire. Or I'm not going to have a child until I have accomplished this and accomplished that. Or and then they get there.
Yeah, and they're still not
and,
happy. And
they're still not happy.
absolutely, you're absolutely right. And that's when we get to your last chapter, which is accountability and action, really. And this is
Yeah.
again a huge, huge and very important part, action and holding yourself accountable, right?
Yes, it's very important, especially if you have, a vision that is grand and things like that. You need to have accountability, and you have to take action. Nothing happens without you taking action. You need to take that first step. If you don't take that first step and continue taking steps, like we talked before, small things happening consistently in a daily basis is going to create big things.
Absolutely. I always say you cannot take two steps. You only can take one step at a time. It doesn't matter how small or big, but just one step at a time.
Yeah, we don't walk like this. We walk
Exactly.
one step at a time. So the same way when you are trying to fulfill your vision, when you're trying to get healthy, when you're trying to adopt a healthy lifestyle, when you're trying to change the way you eat, when you're trying to start some new exercise, all this stuff happen one step at a time. But you have to take action, because if you don't take action, nothing happen. And people get stuck in the planning. They write their vision statement and they have it posted everywhere. They have it
Exactly.
posted everywhere, and they're planning and they're planning. I tell you, because I did that, okay, for many years. I'm planning.
Me too.
Before I'm sorry, before I opened my business, I had my computer so full of health information and handouts that I can use, and posts that I can use, and all that stuff. And I wasn't doing nothing but accumulating stuff and buying programs and buying this and buying that, and all my computer full of stuff and not doing anything,
Me
no
too.
taking action. So yeah, planning planning is the first thing that happens, but don't get stuck in the planning.
Exactly.
Do not get
I
stuck
love
in the
it.
planning. You need to start taking action, and you cannot wait until things are perfect to start taking action, because then you're never going to take action, because we are not perfect
Absolutely right.
and things are
Well,
not going to be perfect. So you have to start as soon as you have the minimal things that you need in order to start taking action. You have to start taking action. And as you, oh, but I don't want to make that mistake. Don't worry about it. You know that success are made out of failure. If
oh
you
yeah,
never fail, you never try.
absolutely right. I completely agree with you, Aida. And also, I did that. I was there as well. I was planning a full, and I had all the books and all the courses and all the stuff, but I didn't do anything. And until the moment when you decided, okay, it's better done than perfect, and then you start doing it, then but actually your life is gonna change. Because
And
what I think is perfect, it might not be perfect for someone else. Or what I think, oh, it's 70%, 60%, it might be wow, perfect for someone else. So there's no such thing as perfect, really. So better done than perfect, and go for it. Just take that step, take the action, and as you said, not just put it on a vision board and accumulate things and then procrastinate. And yeah, we start tomorrow, or maybe on New Year's Eve, the New Year's resolution that I'm gonna start on 1st of January. Really.
then also find the root cause of your procrastination. I put a little bit of that in the book as well.
Yeah,
What is the root cause of your procrastination? You need to find that out, and then you need to find a good accountability partner. You would need somebody that to make you accountable, so making sure that you get your goals accomplished.
sure.
But it have to be a person that will celebrate you every single step that you have. But at the same
Absolutely.
time, if you're not doing right, that
It's,
they
they are
will be
there and
able to tell you the
pushing you.
truth, you know,
Absolutely. Yes, you're
so that
right.
they can keep you accountable.
Absolutely right. Ah, she misses you. We are almost done, guys. So thank you for watching, guys. And before we leave, I'm just going to show again Ida's book, Jumpstart Your Everlasting Love. I'm going to ask, and the workbook. It goes with the workbook as well, which is really, really helpful if you work the two together. We are going to put the link where you can buy the book in the chat box in the comments below. So you can go there, and you also always can reach out either to me or to Aida if you have any questions. She's a specialist, she's a holistic health practitioner. So any questions you have, I mean, please, guys, go to Ida. I promise you will be in really, really good hands. And before we leave today, Ida, what's your final thought today? What would you love to share with people who are watching now or they are going to watch, later on?
I want you guys to purchase this book because this book is going to help you to take control of your health. It's going to give you
Yeah,
a direction on how to do it. And when you buy it, make sure that you buy the workbook, because in the workbook is where you have all the recipes, is where you have the guide for the detox, and where you have the questionnaire that's going to help you find yourself and going to be able to accumulate all that information that you need to do to identify and to do your protocol, your individual lifestyle protocol. All that stuff, you're going to find it in your workbook. So it's very important for you to purchase both the workbook and the book to get all the information, because I want all of you to become the CEO of your health. I want you to make sure that you are healthy. I want you to, when you retire, you're going to be able to travel. You're going to be able to, you want to be able to enjoy your life now, enjoy your children's now. Okay. Life, we are the kind of people that we save our best china for when somebody coming, the best dress for when we have a big party, and the dress is there. But by the time that you use it, it doesn't fit you no more.
absolutely. Oh my God, I love this. I
Don't
know.
do that. You want to make sure that you enjoy life fully. In order for you to enjoy life, you need to be healthy. In order for you to fulfill your purpose and your dreams, you need to be healthy. Especially women. Woman, we do so many things. We have so many hats. We are the mama. We are the secretary. Okay, we are the nurse. And if you are a solopreneur, you like me, you are the marketing. You are the promotion. You are the graphic designer. You are
Absolutely.
the coach. Everything. We have so many. And then the children, the school, the house, the cooking. And then after that, you start to be pretty at the end of the night, so you can spend some time with the hubby. Listen, we do a lot, and if we don't take care of ourselves, you're not going to be able to take care of anybody else. We need to give out of a full cup. So you need to fill that cup. In order for you to do that and make sure that you're not part of the statistic when it comes to chronic disease and diseases, then you need to learn. You need to take this path. I want you to start by purchasing the book. Okay, and if you cannot do it alone, then get into my program. I have a 90-day program, do the same name as the book, Jumpstart Your Everlasting Life from Sick Care to Good Care, where I hold your hand through the process. And I give you recipes, and I give you even the supplements that you're gonna need through the detox and everything. Okay, that you're gonna need in order for you to get healthy, optimize your body. This is a pandemic. You know what's going on right now. It is important for us to take care of ourselves. You know how the healthcare is. You know how many people are dying because they getting the wrong medication. You know how many people are suffering because of the side effects of medication, and you don't want to be one of those. So it is important for you to take care of your health, to remember once again that the doctor is responsible for your sick care, but you are responsible of your health care.
Thank you so much, and that's beautifully said. I enjoyed having you a guest today. I hope you did as well, guys. I thank you very much for watching and being here with us. And as I said, you can always reach us to Ida or myself anytime. I'm going to say thank you for all of you for being here, and bye for now.
Thank you.